Good morning, students. Today we will revise the topics which we have done in chapter 1. Let's start. We have started this chapter with the word matter. What is matter? Anything that has mass and occupies space is called matter. Then we have discussed some of the examples like it is human beings, animals, plants, books, clothes, food, everything, whatever you see around you, they are all matter. After this, you have learnt about the classification of matter that we have done on the basis of physical and the chemical properties. Under the physical properties, the matter has been classified on the basis of 3 points. Number 1, matter is made up of particles, that is called, it has a particulate nature. That is, matter is not like a block of wood, but it is made up of particles. That is why we are able to dissolve salt or sugar in water, lemon in water to make the lemon juice, etc. Second point is the size of the particles of matter are very small, that is beyond our imagination. In this, we had discussed one activity in which you have dissolved the 5 crystals of potassium permanganate in 100 ml of water. Out of this, then you added the 10 ml of this into next beaker containing the 90 ml of water, and this process you had continued it for 4-5 times. And you remember what you have seen, that the color of potassium permanganate remains visible, although it remains faint, but it remains visible till the end. That is, size of the particles of matter are very small, that is size of the particles of KMnO4, that is very small, beyond our imagination. Then we have discussed the characteristic of the particles of the matter, that matter particles have space between them. That is why they mix with each other. The process is known as diffusion. Particles of matter are constantly in motion. That is why you can smell the aroma of food sitting quite far away from the food. Third is particles of the matter attract each other. That is why we have the different states of matter, solid, liquid and gas, and in the solid the particles remains bonded with each other. With the liquids the particles are quite far away, and in gases the particles are very far away, but they have the force of attraction between them. After this, we had discussed the states of matter, that on the basis of the arrangement of particles, the matter can be classified as solid, liquid and gas, which we have talked just now. Characteristic of the 3 states of matter and the difference between them, under which you have studied solid, liquid and gases and differentiated them on the basis of shape, on the basis of volume, on the basis of size, compressibility, diffusion, fluidity and intermolecular force of attraction, and also intermolecular space. So if we look at these points, then the shape of solids, that is the definite, liquids, they take the shape of the container, gases, they also take the shape of the container. Volume in the 2 of them, that is the solid and liquid, it remains the same, but the volume of gases that can change because it can spread to a larger area. Size, solids have the fixed shape, while the gases and the liquids, they may take the different sizes. Compressibility, solids have least compressible, while the liquids, they are more compressible than solids. But in case of the gases have the maximum compressibility because the particles are very far away from each other. They can be brought closer by exerting the pressure on them. Now diffusion intermixing of the particles of matter on their own. So if we talk about the gases, the diffusion process occurs very fast in gases, while it takes less time in liquids but least time in solids. Fluidity, liquids and the gases, they can flow but not in the case of solids. Intermolecular force of attraction, in solids it is the maximum, liquids lesser, but in the gases it is least. Intermolecular space, it is least in solids, more in liquids, and maximum in gases. After this, you have learnt about the changes of state of matter, which is due to the change of temperature or the change of pressure, under which you have learnt about the melting or fusion, boiling, evaporation, condensation, solidification or freezing, and the process of sublimation. So let us talk about them one by one. Melting or fusion, that is solid to liquid. Liquid to vapor is the boiling. When the boiling occurs, when the particles of the liquid state changes into the gaseous state at the surface only below their boiling point, it is called evaporation. Condensation is when the gases convert into liquids, and freezing is liquid converts into solid. Sometimes under some particular conditions, the solid may convert into the gases or the gases may convert into the solids without coming into the liquid state. Then the process is called sublimation. In this case, you must have seen how when we heat a piece of camphor, then it immediately gets evaporated. We don't get any leftover material because from the solid the gases are formed. Ammonium chloride, camphor, iodine, these are few substances which shows the process of sublimation. After this, you have learned that how we convert the temperature from Kelvin to degree Celsius and vice versa. And the last topic in that you have studied about the process of evaporation, about the causes that whenever the liquid converts into the gaseous state, then it is the process of evaporation, and because the particles of the surface of a liquid gain energy and convert into the vapor state below its boiling point, then it is called the evaporation process. Evaporation causes the cooling effect because when the particles convert from the liquid to the gaseous state, they take the energy from the surface. Like when we sweat, sweating produces a cooling effect. Now see how. When we sweat, the sweat evaporates from our body, and for this evaporation, it takes the heat energy from our body, producing a cooling effect. If you will put some acetone on your palm, it will evaporate within a fraction of seconds. The same thing occurs there, that the process of evaporation occurs in which the acetone takes the heat from our palm and it evaporates, and when it evaporates, it produces the cooling effect. And at last, you have studied about the factors affecting the evaporation. There are 4 factors: temperature, surface area, wind speed, and humidity. Temperature is proportional to process of evaporation. That is, more the temperature, more the evaporation process will occur. On a sunny day, when the temperature remains high, the clothes get dry faster. Second factor is surface area. More the surface area, more will be the process of evaporation. Again, the same thing, that it is directly proportional to the process of evaporation. That is, if you had to make your clothes dry faster, then you had to spread them to the maximum area. So the area is more, the evaporation process will become. One more example, if you have to sip hot tea or coffee, then you pour it into a saucer, the process of evaporation will be faster and you can sip it easily. So surface area is more, evaporation process becomes faster. Number 3 is the wind speed. More the wind speed, more the process of evaporation. Again, it is directly proportional to the process of evaporation. On a windy day, the clothes get dry faster. And the fourth factor, that is humidity. More the humidity, less is the process of evaporation. What is humidity? Humidity is, let us recall, the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So if the atmosphere is already having the water vapors, then it cannot absorb the more amount of the water vapor from any substance. That is why we say humidity is indirectly proportional to the process of evaporation. More humidity, evaporation process will become less. So with this, chapter is complete.